Seth is raking in that dough.
Oh, not hardly.
He bringing in that money bag when he walks in the door.
You know, I mentioned Way Ellis and Ellis Ag and them folks earlier. If y'all could see the bill that I owe them right now, it'd make your heart fall. So I ain't gonna say I'm raking it in for sure.
You raking it out of the house and into their hands.
That's.
What's up, y'all?
This is Beyond 21.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Callie.
I'm Seth Rochester.
He's a farmer. Mm-hmm. He's one of our local farmers.
Go ahead. Good.
No, go ahead and say what you're going to say. I was
just
going
to
to
say that he's worked with our dad for how long, do you think?
Well, I've been in law enforcement for 19 years, and every one of those I've
been with Bo Jolly.
Okay,
there we go. How do you like working with Bo?
Love it.
Best boss ever.
Best boss ever.
You should get him a mug.
Three quarters of my career at least, Bo's been my supervisor. The man's my mentor. He's my hero.
There you go.
Oh, gosh, he's your hero?
All right, here we go.
Yes.
We did a round of applause there. Oh, my bad. I'm going to have to stop touching this stuff.
Yeah, she needs to stop messing with my tech over here since she's not tech savvy. Did you know she was the not tech savvy one?
I didn't know.
Terrible.
She can't.
I can't
She
run
can
this
barely
thing.
work her iPhone. I mean, let's be honest.
I was having trouble with PayPal today.
I just got her to download Venmo. You know about Venmo?
No.
Okay. Well, that's okay. But
my daughter Aubrey has to. She shows me new things every day of what an iPhone will do that I didn't know even existed. So.
Yeah. iPhones are tricky. They can be tricky.
They are. So today we're going to be talking about farming. And I guess Callie should ask the question.
I got a couple.
Well, first off, what do y'all plant? What did y'all plant this year?
We planted cotton, corn, soybeans, and we had wheat.
See, that's what I was going to ask. Do you do that every year? Like all those every year? Or do you change it up depending on, I guess?
For the most part, we have the same crops. What varies of how much we plant of what is market prices, how much ground we have that needs rotation.
When you say rotation, do you mean like planting like a cover crop? Like is beans a cover crop?
No,
soybeans? They're not?
When I say rotation, like if you plant a farm for so long in cotton, you need to rotate it to grain just to help build nutrients up in the soil, which if you keep your soil maintained, keep your fertilizer like what you're supposed to do, it's not really an issue, but every so many years you do need to rotate it out. Like we like rotating like from grain to cotton in fields that we have high weed pressure, just for the simple fact you control weeds better in cotton of what we spray over the top of cotton and how many times cotton has to be sprayed versus our grain.
That's a lot of details that I never would have thought went into like farming, you know? Like I never would have thought about any of that, like rotation or anything like that. But okay, this might be a really dumb question. But okay, all the land that you farm on, like are you working for somebody or is it your land or like what's the deal?
Most of our land we lease. As far as our business itself, me and my brothers and my father, we're all owners of it. We all farm together, and we own some of our land that we farm, but the majority of the land we farm, we lease from landowners.
Okay. You know they lease that land between Mom and Daddy's and
yes,
Mama and Granddaddy's.
I didn't know that.
Y'all
got it? Get it this year?
Troy is one of her. That's majority of our land is just like what we've got in place with Mr. Troy, y'all's granddad. We lease his farm and pay him rent every year, and he's gracious enough to let us farm it.
Gotcha. Okay. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that. That's why. I mean, there's been cotton there for the past I don't know how many years. And then did y'all start doing it this year?
Yes.
Okay, because I knew it's beans
I was
now.
about to say, yeah, I knew that Granddaddy owned that land. I knew that, and then I knew
it was Mr. Hopper that was.
That's what I thought it was still his for some reason.
No, they swapped. I don't think he farms anymore.
Yeah, Mr. Bobby retired, and then we took over farming it. This season's our first year there.
So, like, when you say you took over, is it like, was there other people that wanted to get that land too? Like, did y'all have to kind of I guess, arrange who got that, or did he just pick y'all like, hey, I
Well,
want y'all?
me and Bo were working together one day, and it come up in conversation, and I would never lease any land out from another farmer. That's something that I don't do and that I don't believe in. I've had it done to me, and that's the most rotten thing you can do to any farmer is go to one of his landowners, his or her landowners, and rent their land out from under them. But I had mentioned to Bo that, if he got to talking to Mr. Troy in conversation, and I knew Mr. Bobby. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but I knew he was getting close to time to retire, and I said, just whenever Mr. Bobby gets done, I would like a shot at it.
Yeah.
Mr. Bobby announced that he was retiring, and Mr. Troy kept me in mind and offered it to us.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's good. Oh, my God.
Hunter just got on to Marley.
No, he didn't. He's playing his game.
Oh.
If you hear him saying some things, just try to ignore it. I try to get onto him every time, but he always does the same thing. This wall is thin.
Okay.
Anyway, so, okay, I forgot.
I wanted to ask you, this may be jumping ahead, but I saw on your Snapchat the other day that the beans were not doing something you wanted, like was it the yield?
The yield, this year's been a tough year for us. It started out tough, dry weather, hot weather. It's really showing up. We've started harvesting soybeans. We've got our corn harvested. It's out of the field. The yield was not good on it. We're currently working on soybeans now, and the yield's not great on it. My brother Shannon and Kyle, they're in the middle of, or have started harvesting our cotton crop, and the yields are not there. On it as well from dry weather, and then of course we've got deer damage and all that kind of stuff working against us, and on top of all that, the market prices are in the tank right now.
Why? Is it the election?
I'm not sure what's driving it. They started falling last year. It's a really tough scenario right now. And I'm gonna say, the election's got something to do with it. The grain market went to falling when Russia invaded Ukraine. That took a big hit on the grain market because Ukraine is one of the biggest grain importers in the world.
So do you think some of the farming is getting taken out of the United States and going elsewhere? And that could also cause a problem with the market prices?
Absolutely. For the most part, China controls the cotton market, whatever they're...
Oh, really?
I wouldn't have thought that.
I would have never... I thought that was like a southern thing.
Yeah, I did too.
China controls the cotton market. Brazil is having a really big effect on the cotton market for us right now because apparently in Brazil you can grow cotton 10 times as cheap as what you can grow it in America. So they're able to sell their cotton for cheaper and still make as good a profit as what we're doing. But
yeah, that's crazy. Like I know I'm gonna say this, I feel like the whole time, but I never would have put that much thought into farming. Like I just thought you go out there, you plant your stuff, you get it, but
it's very unpredictable, isn't it?
It's a gamble. I mean, honest to goodness, it's about the same concept at the start of the. If I would go to the casino at the start of the year with $500,000 and walk up to the roulette table and bet that $500,000 on red or black, it's the same concept. Either I'm going to hit and double my money, or I'm going to miss it and lose my money.
Yeah. And y'all work from the time the sun is rising to dark, and y'all got lights on your
right.
your harvesters and all that, so y'all probably working past dark.
Right. We do during harvest season, especially. It ain't that bad. Once it starts out with we start out with spray and burn down. It isn't all that bad strenuous then, unless weather gets us behind, and we're trying to get it all sprayed before we get planted. Then comes planting time, and it gets pretty strenuous then. It's 7 days a week from can to can't. But the most strenuous part of the time of the year is during harvest of what we're getting started with now. Depending on weather, we're running 7 days a week, 12 to 15 hours a day. You absolutely can't, trying to get it out.
Dang. I wanted to kind of go back. I can't remember exactly. Oh, you were talking about the dry weather. But I know that everybody says farmers love rain. Okay, but when it's raining
Not
all
too
the
much rain.
Okay, so that's what I was about to say.
Too much rain can be just as harmful as too little rain.
How much is too much?
To the point it hinders you from getting in the field and getting the crop in the ground. If it hinders you from getting the chemicals on the cotton that you need to get on it, that would be considered too much. And then it's like any plant, like a plant that you might have on your porch. If you put too much water to it, you'll kill it.
Yeah.
It's the same concept with the crop in your field.
So
Let me say this real quick.
Okay, you go.
For cotton, maybe in the cotton business,
Right.
when it rains after the cotton's picked, it can lower the grade of the cotton after it's ginned, right?
Yes,
Because it'll mold and
well, you mean like when it's boxed?
when it's boxed up, like baled up in those
That's what I
big,
mean.
huge bales,
Yeah.
like especially the ones that I guess have got that tarp-like thing on it instead of like the wrap or whatever, they'll mold, right?
They will, and one negative effect that rain has on cotton after it's been defoliated is the weight that you lose in it. Like if you can defoliate and get your cotton picked before it rains on it, you get what we call green weight in the cotton. It weighs more, and the more it weighs, the more you get paid.
Yeah.
The more it rains on your crop after you defoliate it, the more weight that you lose in it.
So do they kind of like deduct weight because they know it's been rained on?
No, it's all it's weight at the gin.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when you say defoliate, do you mean like when y'all kill the actual plant?
Yeah, which we don't actually kill the plant. We spray a chemical on it that one of the chemicals, it just makes the leaves fall off of it.
Oh, see, I thought it just killed the whole plant, and then you're left with
No.
because I was told, and I don't know who told me this, but somebody told me that if you don't spray it, it will just keep growing and get taller and taller and taller.
It will. The cotton plant itself, cotton is actually a tree.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whenever as it's growing throughout times, we keep it sprayed with growth regulator to keep it from growing really tall. And which you think, well, the taller it is, the better it is.
I was about to say that.
But that's not necessarily the case. When we spray it with growth regulator, what it's doing is it's actually making the cotton plant change its mind from growing tall to stay in the height that it is and growing out.
Oh, okay, okay.
In retrospect, that'll make it put on more fruit and bear more cotton.
So a lot goes into all this. You've got fertilizers, like all those chemicals, like seed. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Y'all got to put a lot of money in hopes that you get what. I mean, if you don't mind saying, how much do y'all normally like an average farmer puts in if they're planting cotton?
It varies, and I can't give you an exact dollar amount because I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know what the final bill is at the end of the year. But my brother Shannon, I wish he was sitting here with me. He could tell you to the penny of what we've got into it an acre. I don't.
Oh, he keeps up with the money
He's
side.
the money
too?
guy.
He handles most of that part of it.
Oh, okay. Because as we're talking about it and something said about money or like a tractor or whatever, like, I do taxes every day.
Right.
And so, like, I have a lot of people that I do personal taxes for, and they have farms. And I, in my mind, can see fertilizers, and I put the amount in and, like, the income and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot.
I
Every
can
time
imagine.
it's a lot.
I mean, I've got a pretty good idea in my head, but I wasn't sure. I mean, listen, I play Farm Simulator on my phone, okay?
Is that close? Do you play Farming Simulator?
My two sons, they play it on the PlayStation.
It's
Is
pretty
it
accurate.
Because
Because Daddy loves it.
It'd be nice if it was that easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I'll just hit times 90 speed and have it grow in like 3 minutes.
It's really easy to buy new equipment on Farming Simulator because my boys get mad at me the couple of times that they've actually let me play it. I'll get on there and I'll go buy a new combine because it's their money, it's not mine.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know exactly how to word this, but like when you pick the cotton or whatever, how do you go about selling it? Like I know you take it to the gin, but like, do you have to have some sort of contract with them or?
Well, it depends. We've got people that we sell our cotton and our grain to. A lot of our grain, or most of our soybeans, and all of our wheat we sell to Way Ellis with Ellis Ag, which has also Way and his company, Ellis Ag, is also who we buy all of our seeds, fertilizer, and chemicals from also. And then we also sell grain to Cherokee Milling, to David James and them. With cotton, there's different cotton buyers. We sell a lot of our cotton through Plaza Cotton, where Caitlin works. But yeah, once we pick it, depending on what the markets are doing, we'll contract it. If the markets hit a point that we know we're going to be able to make a profit on it, we'll go ahead and contract X amount per acre. But you've got to be careful with that, because
if it goes up,
right, it's again back to the gambling thing. If I contract cotton for 85 cents a pound, and the next week it goes up to $1 a pound, well, I've lost that difference in profits that I could have made. But most of the time you'll let it get to where you know you can make some money, and you'll go ahead and contract X amount of it per acre. But you've got to be careful how much you contract per acre, because you've got, once you sign that contract, you've got to produce that.
Yeah.
Like if drought hits or whatever, I mean, all of our buyers has always worked with us, which we've never fell short of a contract either, but we're responsible for that difference that we're lacking on filling that contract.
Have you ever been close on not making it?
Oh, yes.
And it gets really scary.
I bet y'all are puckered up.
Right. Which we didn't, the markets has been so bad all year long, we don't have anything contracted this year. I mean, it just wasn't any need. I mean, just the markets has been in the
So y'all just sell it when you get done harvesting. You say, I have this amount, and you sell it, and then it's like kind of lower risk.
Right.
Yeah, because I guess that's like playing the aggressive on the stock market.
Yeah.
Hunter would know about that.
He would know. He knows. Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know nothing about stock market.
I don't either. I don't deal with them. I wouldn't know.
I just let my 401k deal with that. Yeah. I don't do anything.
I just know what my daddy's told me about the stock market. He said, son, you'll lose you can messing with the stock market, leave it alone. And I've always just, okay.
Left it alone. Hey.
Herman said, drop it.
Drop it.
When you're on like the cotton picker or whatever, does that get boring sitting there the whole time and like, driving around?
It gets monotonous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always focus that you're having to do. I mean, you're constantly having to scan the ground for rocks, washes, ditches, stuff like that. But
animals.
Yeah, it does. It gets do what?
Animals.
Animals, yes, definitely animals. But yeah, it gets monotonous.
Yeah. So you can't just sit there and like play on your phone while you're driving. You can't just be.
No.
You'd be over like to the left.
You'd be upside down in the ditch. Which a lot of our equipment's got GPS on it, and it's, on certain things you can run auto steer.
Oh, I did not know that.
Seth over here on his Call of Duty game doing like this, looking up, making sure.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble? Nah, I don't do that. But in honest to goodness, farm equipment, certain implements has gotten so wide, you've kind of got to have that. Like my combine that I run a 35-foot head on the front of it. You can't sit there and actually drive the machine and watch 35 foot in front of you. That's where, like, when we have fields that I can run the auto steer, it frees me up, or at least frees my hand up to where I can focus on the ground in front of me if I want to get a drink of water or dip snuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Air conditioning.
I was about to say, do you have the air conditioned?
Yes, I have no air conditioning. I will not. That's just a deal breaker.
Hey, I don't want.
I'm stopping it right there. I'm calling the John Deere tech to the field. Hey, we got to fix this.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting out here in this heat.
I can imagine.
Do you have like a speaker, or does it have a radio, or like what do you do to pass the time?
It's AM, FM radio. You can Bluetooth your phone to it. Listen to music on your phone.
This thing's high tech.
What's your genre that you listening to?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Because Daddy claims you listen to rock music. Yes. Is that true? Like classic rock?
Classic rock. Rock and roll does not exist past the 80s, period.
Okay, I feel you.
I'm CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, AC/DC.
You're not a Nirvana guy.
No. I was born in 84. I was definitely born too late for the music that I enjoy.
Yeah. Same, because I like classic rock also.
Yeah.
So you don't listen to any country, or do you like country?
Yeah, I hate new country.
That's what I do too. So you don't listen to WQSB probably?
I do, just because I don't feel like changing it to something else.
Yeah.
But all your new country, I mean,
Luke Bryan and all of them.
No,
Some of
probably
Luke
the
Bryan
Post
stuff.
Malone.
Yeah, Post Malone, no. Some of Luke Bryan stuff I like because some of his stuff actually about farming.
Yeah. Rain makes corn.
That's right. Which Luke Bryan, I think, grew up farming. From what I understand, I don't know Luke Bryan's history, but
Yeah.
he knows a little bit about it anyway.
Yeah. So so you got a nice little thing to do. You got some music, you got some air conditioning, and that keeps you going.
And all that is wonderful and great until something breaks.
How often does that happen?
Oh yeah, good
It's
question.
of an average day of running a piece of machinery. I mean, that's everybody jokes, man. You just sit up in an air conditioned tractor cab all day. It's a little bit more to it than that. On an average day, of an hour, I might spend 45 minutes. There's 15 minutes of that hour that I'm out having to check something. If I'm planting, I'm out having to check seed depth, something like that. So it ain't all just sitting. I wish it was, but it ain't all sitting just in air conditioning. You got to get out and check on everything.
And that's dangerous too. You stick your arm somewhere.
Yeah, be careful where you put your fingers.
I know a guy that he's missing some fingers. He was a cotton farmer, and I guess the harvester something cut them off. There's a few of them. I think he's missing 3 fingers on that hand.
Yeah, you always make sure that everything's off and secured before you get out and get to messing with it.
Do your kids play in the back of the combine when you get done picking?
Do what now?
Do your kids play in the back of the combine when you get done picking? Have they ever?
Well, the way all of our stuff is now, unfortunately, like I remember growing up, we had, back to my earliest memory of cotton picking, we had cotton wagons, and Daddy let me get up in the cotton wagons, and I'd be so-called working, but I'd just be up there playing in the cotton. The way things are now, we've went to the roller pickers, and it just ain't really nothing to play on. I mean, it's all business now.
Yeah. So when you were younger and like you're out there with your dad, did you actually have an interest in farming, or was it just kind of something like, all right, boys, you're going to be farmers. You're going to take over after me?
Well, of course, I was like any other farm kid. I wanted to do what my daddy was doing. I wanted to farm. I got to high school, and I don't know. I ain't going to say I got burned out on it. I just got other interest, and that's how I wound up in law enforcement, I guess, for the time that I was full-time in that. And then, like I said, I graduated high school, and then I went to working toward that goal of being a law enforcement officer, and I got hired on and done that, and I loved that until I got married, and me and my wife started expecting our first child. Well, bills had started coming in, and what I was making as a deputy sheriff just
Wasn't cutting it.
wasn't cutting it, and
Y'all should be paid more for being
I agree.
sheriff's deputies, police officers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. But that's me and my dad was talking one day, and they just had leased a new farm up in Coosa, Georgia. And he told me, he said, son, he said, I know you're struggling financially. He said, and I'm not telling you you're not going to struggle financially farming, because you are. You're going to have good years and you're going to have bad years. But he said, I think you can be a whole lot more comfortable and he said, if you think this is what you want to do, now's the time to do it, because now we have the acres to support you coming back into the business if that's what you want. And I studied on it and prayed on it, and here I am.
There you are. How difficult is it to do both?
It can get very difficult, especially with
Because when do you sleep? I mean,
well, the sheriff and y'all's dad and the chief deputy, they all work with me. They let me have my cake and my ice cream too.
There you go.
They let me base my sheriff's office schedule around my farming schedule, and that's the only way I'm able to do it.
Yeah.
Like during this time of the year, I don't work any at the sheriff's office.
Okay.
And the sheriff and everybody's understanding of that, because they know I'm in the field gathering
That's
my
good.
crop.
That's good.
But yeah, if it wasn't for that understanding and that support from them, I wouldn't have the opportunity and wouldn't be able to do it.
So on a regular or average, when you're working at both places, do you actually get to sleep a good amount, or are you running off with no sleep?
They work with me enough, because like I made myself a rule. And y'all's dad, Bo, told me no, that this wasn't going to work. But he said, "Hey, you got to make your own mistakes, pal." I was going to try to.
Sounds like him.
I'm going. I'm going to try to. I'm gonna try to double dip and do both. I'd work all day at the farm and then come in at the sheriff's office, and I'd work at the sheriff's office to 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And
That's before they went on 12 hours, wasn't it?
I was always just part time. So during this time I was part time, so I didn't have to work 12-hour shifts. I would work all day on the farm and then work a 8-hour shift with the sheriff's office.
Oh, okay.
That nearly killed me. I learned real quick and fast. I couldn't do that.
And you're missing out time with your kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your wife.
And it was at that point that I made myself a promise that in a 24-hour span, you work one job. And
Yeah.
that's a deal with just me. I mean, that's me and myself and that's a promise I made myself. In 24 hours, you work one job. So,
And that way you don't get burnt out on either thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
yeah, and I get some sleep.
Right.
There you go. Hey, sleep's good.
I can work 7 days a week. I just can't work 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
There you go.
I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
Right.
Caller number 1. This is Beyond 21 with Caitlin and Callie and Seth Rochester.
How are you today?
Hey, caller.
Oh,
On 21. This is caller number 1 and KT beside me here. We got a question for your guest tonight.
okay. Are you ready, Seth?
I hope so.
He hopes so.
So, hey, Seth, you know me. I'm Bo Jolly.
Hey, Jolly Bo.
And I'm KT.
What's up, KT?
Hey, we just want you to know, Seth, we love you, buddy.
Well, I love y'all. Always have and always will.
And roll tide, baby, roll tide.
Roll Tide. I hope we're gonna beat the Dogs this weekend.
So down to the question here, Seth.
Okay.
So, what is the hardest part of farming for you?
The worry about the things that I can't do nothing about.
Like the rain and stuff.
You know, that's about like everything else. Most people worry about stuff they can't control.
That's
I have a question.
Well, let him finish answering the question.
But I guess sitting and stressing over weather. Knowing I can't do nothing about it, but they don't stop it. None the same that I sit and just worry myself to death that my crop's burning up or whatever it may be. But that's the hardest part, is not being able to physically do something to fix it.
You know, and life is going to go on regardless, you know it?
That's right. Exactly right.
Why's he acting like your dad? How much younger
is
are
he
you?
acting
He's
like
my
he's your
mentor.
dad?
Of course
He's
he
your-
is.
Daddy, Seth said you're his hero.
About as old enough to be his daddy.
Did you hear that?
I feel like I am anyway.
Seth said you were his mentor, his hero.
Well, now look, Bo had a lot to do with raising me. And just because you turn 18 years old or you turn 21 years old, don't mean your raising's done. That's where hopefully you have people like Bo Jolly in your life that can keep you on the straight and narrow and keep you walking the right direction.
So you're like our older
Well, I
brother.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
He says he appreciates that, Seth. All right, Mama, what's your question?
All right, Seth, you got to be real honest about this.
Okay.
So when you're out in the field and you're out late at night doing the farming duties, how irritated does the wife get sometimes?
I'm very blessed. I have the best wife in the world. She's very understanding. What are you doing? You're pushing buttons.
I clapped for Jess.
Oh, okay. She's very understanding. She has never gotten mad at me one time because I come rolling in at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. She's always there to pick me up during the hard times, and that's what it takes to keep going.
Baller.
Well, I need to get some plays out of her playbook then. I'm not always so understanding, Seth.
I know.
Well, Seth is raking in that dough.
Oh, not hardly.
He bringing in that money bag when he walks in the door.
You know, I mentioned Way Ellis and Ellis Ag and them folks earlier. If y'all could see the bill that I owe them right now, it'd make your heart fall. So I ain't gonna say I'm raking it in for sure.
You raking it out of the house and into their hands.
That's
Hey, at the end of the day, Seth, I just want you to know you're family to us, and you always will be.
well, and the same to
We're very
me.
proud of your farming.
Well, I couldn't imagine not getting to know all of y'all. It seems like yesterday. Bo, which one was it likes to lick rubber? Is that Caitlin? Was that Callie? That's the fondest memory that I'll ever have in my life.
Basketball leaking one.
Yeah.
We were getting to sit at y'all's
Kelly's
kitchen.
the one that licked the basketball in the shoes.
Yes. Oh, we've got to tell that story.
Tell it, Seth.
We were playing Phase 10. Bo and Katrina had invited.
And y'all did that often, did you not? Like, y'all were always over there, were you not?
We were over there pretty regular doing it.
Okay, anyway.
But Bo and Katrina had invited us over to play Phase 10. It's a card game. And this is one of my first times over. Y'all were just little old bitty gals running around. And I heard Bo just stick his head up out of nowhere and go, Callie, quit licking that shoe. I'm like, what? And I turn and look, and she's sitting there with a shoe in her hand, just doing like this, licking it. And the way Bo just stayed so calm, he just looked up over his cards and been like, Callie, quit licking that shoe. Then went right back to playing cards.
Like it was a normal thing.
Yes.
Because it was. It's an everyday deal, man.
But man, that carried me away. I still to this day think about that and just die laughing.
Just randomly think about it sometimes.
Yep. I'll be going down the road and it'll just come across you sitting there licking that shoe.
Did you see? So you saw me licking the shoe.
Yes, I turned around. You had that shoe and you just going to town on it.
Did you laugh in that moment?
Absolutely, I fell out of the chair.
He nearly stopped breathing. He laughed so hard. And there were about 15 shades of red.
Oh, God. That's good right there.
That is good.
Well, I'm glad I could be your entertainment.
I want you to know, Seth, that my dog Roscoe, you know, the dog that you're afraid of?
Absolutely.
Well, he's very disappointed that you planted soybeans instead of cotton.
Well, give us a couple of years to get the rotation back squared away, and we'll get you some cotton back out there.
Because he likes to run and play in the cotton. He tried to play in the soybeans, and it just didn't happen.
He may not want a dog in his soybeans.
I know.
No, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. We need to
Checking out and see if you had any army worms.
That's right. That's something we've had a hard fight with this year also.
Army worms.
Yeah, them big old green worms.
Yeah, fall army worms.
Oh, okay.
Well, all right, I'll let y'all get back to it. Appreciate you answering our questions, Seth.
Yes, sir. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Love you too, Seth.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you, caller number 1.
Thank you.
You hung up on him.
Sometimes you just got to cut it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of get back about the deer problem. Will you tell us a little more about that?
One of the main problems that we're facing now in our area that we farm in here in Cherokee County, which we farm in Cherokee County, Etowah County, Alabama, and then we farm just over the state line in Floyd County, Georgia, is deer pressure. It is an absolute nightmare. The deer population in our area has boomed. I don't know why. We work hand in hand with our local game and fish officers. They work really well with us, and they do all that they can in their power to help us with it. But we're losing. Well, for an example, I've got a soybean field this year. It's about 20 acres. No joke. I had to pull into that field, and just because of deer alone, I had to replant 19 of the 20 acres.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
my gosh.
How many deer do you think? And how long was the time in between the last time you were there and that time?
There's no telling. I mean, I've counted. I've sat in the edge of our fields before and counted over 50 deer.
Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous.
One time, and one thing that we have a problem with is like with the landowners and stuff like that, and neighbors that live around our fields, they don't understand what we're doing. Game and Fish will give us deprivation permits, and what that is they say you can kill X amount of deer for this nuisance that's destroying your crops. Well, it makes people furious that we're shooting deer in the middle of the summertime, and which I mean, I don't want any kind of. I love eating deer meat, but I don't want it in hot weather. I mean, we don't have much choice but to leave them laying. That makes people furious, and they get really mad at us for doing it. But at the same time, it is no different than me going to your checking account and withdrawing money and stealing money out of it.
Yeah.
It's the same concept because that's what the deer, they're destroying our livelihood.
Right.
Can they be processed in the summertime if you have that license? Like, can you take it to a deer processor, or is it just they say you can't process that deer?
None of your local processors are open during the warm weather months. They're just open during deer season.
But they could, like, if you wanted to process the deer yourself, you absolutely could. You don't have to leave them laying.
Within the last couple of years, they have made it to where we can pick up and do something with a deer, but they're infested with ticks.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is a problem, and as far as crop insurance goes, of what the deer have to destroy, and the way like crop insurance pays on like individual farms and stuff like that. Well, on a farm, I may have a 20-acre field and a 5-acre field under one farm number. Well, 3/4 of that farm's got to be destroyed of that whole farm before crop insurance will kick in and help you. Well, they may eat the 5-acre patch up. Well, we've lost that 5 acres because they didn't touch the 20 acres.
Yeah.
The 20 acres, what we picked and yielded off that, canceled out what we lost off the 5 acres.
Right.
As far as crop insurance standards, and we're not eligible to draw any money.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've worked with all of our local game and fish officers on it. One of our local biologists, he issues us the deprivation permits. But it's still a problem because I can't sit on a tractor and planter or a sprayer and spray 12 hours or plant for 12 hours and then get off that piece of equipment and go sit in that field till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and keep deer shot out of it.
Right.
I mean, it's like what we were talking about earlier. I got to sleep sometime.
Yeah.
We've been to our state senator. We've been to our representatives, tried to mention to them our problem, and is there any kind of legislation that they can offer or introduce maybe to get the rules of hunting or get hunting season laws changed to where it's a longer deer season or a hunter can harvest more animals or
that right there is a problem. There's not enough people deer hunting anymore.
Right.
So they're and you can only get 5 doe and 2 bucks a season.
Yeah, something like
it's
that.
something stupid, and I'm like, they're overpopulated. That's why they're overpopulating.
Well, one other issue with people that actively hunt now is they'll sit and hunt, like they'll have hunting property around our farms, or they'll actually have permission to hunt our farms, and they'll sit there and they'll watch 15 does walk by them, and they won't shoot on one of them because they're sitting there waiting on a good buck.
Yeah.
Which I can't blame them. I'm the same way. And especially if you've got a hunting place that you've spent thousands of dollars on to fix up, yeah, you want to kill a good buck off of that. I get it. But at some point, people's going to have to start taking these does to get that thinned down. And what a lot of folks don't understand is if you get your doe to buck ratio back right, you have better bucks.
Exactly.
But that's, like I said, people don't want to fool with them to where versus back in the day, back in our granddaddy's day, you went hunting, well, you needed meat. You didn't care what kind of horns it had. You shot it because you wanted to eat it.
Yeah.
Now you got the pick and save down the road, and people would rather go buy their meat there as they had take it out of the woods themselves. But
I'm one of those people. I hate deer meat.
yeah. Well,
I hate it.
I like
don't
deer
mind.
jerky.
Now, Blake hunts behind the house. He uses a crossbow because we're in the city limits. So he'll hunt behind the house and he'll kill. I think he killed like a doe or 2, not last year, but the year before. But I think he just donates the meat.
yeah.
I mean, why? That would be a great thing. People just donate the meat to people that need food. Like, just get the deer donated.
I mean, that's you've got people starving that would absolutely love to have it.
Yeah.
And I would be more than willing to carry it to them if I would be allowed to. But one thing I thought about, why can't you feed the inmates at the jail?
Oh,
Exactly. That's a good idea.
That's that
free food.
Exactly. That's that much money you could be saving the taxpayers. Feed them deer meat. Most of them would rather have the deer meat is what they get anyway.
Yeah.
But just stuff like that, it could be utilized more. it's coming to a point in time that's one of the biggest and hardest fights that we're having. Not only is all of our input cost doubled, tripled, and quadrupled, now we're having to fight deer eating their crops up, and there's just at the end of the day you feel so helpless sitting there because there's only so much that you can do about it.
Yeah.
And Lord knows you kill a deer and not tag it, you go to prison.
Oh yeah, they get upset.
Yeah, I mean,
So what do you think we could do to help you make that a possibility? Like, do we need to help you? Like, could we petition, or like, what do you think we could?
Anything to get our lawmakers on board with helping us.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've talked to them before, and I'd just get a deprivation permit and shoot them. Well, I do that now. It's not working.
Yeah.
There's not enough of us to shoot them.
Right.
I mean, and of course we have 100 people come up to us. Oh, let me go. I'll shoot them. Well, no, our landowner's not going to like us turning loose just anybody loose on their farm shooting deer. I mean, they give us permission to shoot, but
That's true.
they've
Not everybody in the world is willing to do it.
right, and which I wouldn't want
random.
some Joe Blow out there that I don't know shooting on my field. I
true.
get it, but
That's
Yeah.
true.
and it's something that our local lawmakers could do to really help us. Make it mandatory during deer season that you have to kill at least 5 does before you're eligible to take an antlered buck. I mean, just anything like that would really make a big difference on helping us get this problem under control, and it would also make a healthier deer herd.
Yeah.
I mean, the state's got all these biologists that they're paying to study these deer herds and to study this. When they go to seeing that the population in their area is getting back under control, well, what's wrong with resorting back to the other law? Resorting back to the way it was is okay. Well, the deer population's getting back right. Let's go back to doing it the way we were, and then, maybe we can grow a crop without fear that it's going to get eat to the bare dirt.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they have a limit. There's not that many people hunting. It's not like you're going to kill every single deer in the woods.
It's not like they're gonna go extinct.
They're not going to go extinct.
And which, I mean, one big worry now is I've talked to our local game warden several times about this, and, our area of Cherokee and our area of Etowah County is the only place, it's some kind of vein through there that we've got extremely overpopulated. He says, you go to the other side of DeKalb County or even the other side of Etowah County, and it's not like that. It's not as heavily populated. So I don't know. I wish I could wave a wand and know what the answer was, but just in our area, if we could get some kind of help, because that's really getting to be a big problem.
Well, we're gonna help you. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna help you with that.
Okay, last question of the night. Daddy wants to know why there's so much cotton laying on the side of the roads. He thinks it is the biggest waste of money when it gets blown out of the truck, which I know by that time it's out of y'all's hands. But he wants to make some kind of invention to pick all that cotton off the side of the road up.
Okay, big vacuum cleaner. What that's from is it's blowing out of the back of the module trucks going up and down the road. Like our round rows doesn't do it near as bad because they're completely covered in plastic versus a conventional module. It's of course coming off the sides and the bottoms. Some will blow out of our round rows like the cotton gin, like they've got a spear that they'll use, and they'll run the spear through the rows and load them on the back of a 18-wheeler trailer. And of course, when them spears come in and out of the center of the road, it pulls and jerks the cotton loose. It's not near as much there as what you think it is. I agree with Bo. You look up and down the sides of the roads of Cherokee County during the fall time of the year, and it looks like it snowed.
Yeah.
And it's cotton, but there's not near as much waste or not near as much there as what you might think it would be.
So it's not really a waste of money to y'all because you're not gonna notice that bit of cotton's gone anyway.
Well, it's not enough. No, that's
Not enough to matter.
This right. It's
Okay.
going to come out. I mean, yeah. If they go to dumping pounds of it out because we get paid by the pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Do you think that all the cotton that's on the side of the roads would make one round bale? All of it, not just y'all's, everything in the county. Do you think it would make one round bale?
No, I don't think so.
How big do you think it could get? Mini bale?
maybe. One round bale on average, you've got 4 to 4.5 bales of cotton in, and that's a lot of cotton.
Well, that's what about 2,000 pounds of cotton.
Roughly, yeah. The old timers used to say, a bale, or used to back in the old days, a bale of cotton was 500 pounds.
That's what we still go by at the office. They're about 500 pounds each.
Right.
Little more, little
times
less.
that by 4.5, and that's what you got.
What about those rectangular? What are they modules?
Big ones.
The big rectangular ones y'all just cover with a tar. How do you get that on there, by the way?
Conventional modules.
Yeah.
Well, back before we swapped to the round pickers, we had ropes rigged up on the tailgate of the module builder. When we would get ready to cover it, we would tie the corners of the tarp with that rope, and then whenever the operator pulled the module builder out from over the top, the tarp was attached to the back of the tailgate, and it would just drag it over the top. And then when he gets to the end, we'd stop him and reach up there and untie it and just pull it down and tighten it up.
I thought y'all just got a ladder and like stood on top. Somebody stood on top and like drug it over.
You could do it like that, but we rigged them ropes up to save time and just to keep it going.
This might be a dumb question, but when those modules or whatever, when they're on the ground, how do you get them up off the ground?
Yeah, how do y'all scoop them without putting a divot in the ground?
Well,
Is there like a big claw or something? Like a garbage truck claw?
Module truck, it's got, they tilt the bed up, and it's got conveyor chains. It's got a set of chains all the way throughout the bed, and they start them chains to turning, and it's timed
it just
with
grabs?
the truck, and it just it's amazing how it works. I don't know how they don't break them a knife, but they'll back under them, and them chains is rolling the whole time that they're backing, and it's just lifting it up on the back of the truck.
I've always wondered that. Like, why are you dropping it when they're just gonna have to pick it back up? But it sounds pretty easy to pick.
Well,
it
the
back up.
Gin sends their trucks to go. Once y'all get done with it, the Gin brings their vehicles or whatever Gin picks up whatever cotton.
Once it comes out of the back of the cotton picker and it's wrapped, it's the cotton gins.
Okay.
So y'all have already sold at that point.
No,
Or do you sell it when it gets down there?
It's covered by the gins insurance and all that. It may not be sold. I mean, we may have to. It may wind up warehoused or something like that before we do sell it. But it's sold down the road from that point, because which they buy cotton at the gin. You've got two of the owners of the gin that are cotton buyers, and then you've got Plaza Cotton that also buys cotton, which they're all tied in together with the warehousing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have kind of it sounds so silly for me to ask, but I need to know. So all the cotton on the side of the road, if I were to go and pick up, let's say we had a vacuum, a nice little cotton vacuum, that's the only thing it picked up was cotton, and I were to pack all that cotton together, could I sell? Yeah, you could. Could I sell that one small thing of cotton? How much do you think I'd make off of that one thing of cotton?
Well, cotton, I looked at the markets earlier today. It's 75 cents a pound right now. So,
How many pounds is a mini bale?
you get you a pound right there, you can go get 75 cents for it, I guess.
That's kind of disappointing. I thought I was gonna make a little cotton vacuum.
A little extra ching ching.
If you go to every road in Cherokee County and pick up every piece, you could make 100 or 2. But for the work and the gas you'd be spending to hit every county road in Cherokee County, it wouldn't be worth it.
I knew it was silly, but I thought it's too good not to ask.
If I go down the road and I see you two girls out there picking up cotton, I know times has got rough.
Seth's gonna be like, listen, here, I'll give you $100. Like, if that's what you're out here doing. No, Daddy gonna be out there with us. You know he is.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like, y'all pick it up and put it in some sacks. We'll take it down to the gym.
No, he's gonna make us a little jolly ingenuity invention to be able to pick all that cotton up. He's
down there to Pete and be like, how much will you give me for this? He'd be like, get out of here with that.
So you've got an inside connection on selling it.
Yeah, see? We could get premium price.
I doubt it. Business is business.
That's true.
Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for coming and being on our show.
I've had
My
fun.
pleasure.
Yeah, I have
Yes,
too.
I was really nervous before I got here about this, but this has been a really great experience. And when Bo come up with this ideal, and he texted Caitlin, And
I was at the beach on the balcony. He said, "Why don't you get Seth on the podcast?"
well, when you come back and said it'd be a good idea, it honored me. It really did. And I can't say enough good about you two girls and y'all's whole family, your sister and everybody. Y'all are just awesome, salt of the earth people.
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you. We
Thank
think
you.
that of y'all's family too.
Yes.
I'm really honored to know y'all and really honored to get to watch y'all grow up. I mean, you're married with your own little girl running around now, and you're fixing to get married, and just congratulations to the both of you. Y'all got it going
Thank
your
you.
way.
Thank you.
Thank
I was thinking earlier, I cannot understand. You look, or well, Chisholm looks so much like you. Like sitting here looking at you, I'm like, bro, that's Chisholm.
I can't tell them apart. I can when I see them, but is Chisholm the older one?
Chisholm's the youngest.
That's what I was thinking.
I always think Chisholm is the older one.
Sage is my oldest.
Okay,
He's
yes, it's
12
Sage and then
Chisholm's
Chisholm.
11.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking Chisholm for sure now that you've confirmed that it's a younger one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Would
feel
you
like
ever-
I've learned a lot.
yeah, I definitely have too. And being in the cotton business for the last 6 years.
Well, I hope
You know.
I hope everything I said's close. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure nobody's gonna contest it.
they
If
might-
somebody's got something to say, they can say it to me, and I'll tell them they can back off.
Yeah. Would you ever come back and be on the show if Bo was sitting right here?
absolutely.
Y'all could do some more cop stories because apparently everybody likes Bo being on the podcast. That's
yeah.
what's in our between Daddy and Skylar Ray. Our ratings have went.
Well, we'll have to. That would be. I would love to.
I feel like that would be fun.
He
for
told
y'all,
us-
for us, like
Well, me and Bo can get to telling the Team BS stories.
Yeah,
you go.
he has told us about. Well, he brought you up in one of his podcast episodes where he had to get on to you for going through somebody's house and just raiding it.
Yeah. we were executing a search warrant, and I got a little excited searching.
That's what he said.
But yeah, that goes back to what I said earlier. It's awesome having a person like Bo in your life that can correct you when you go to veering off and can keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
there you go.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for watching. Just keep liking all of our socials, watching our YouTube channels. We're going to be doing a ride along with Seth if we can, if he's still okay with that. So it'll be attached to this video probably. So we probably won't post this video until we get to do that. So
Also, don't forget about the hat giveaway. And like Caitlin said, keep liking, subscribing, commenting, and we're going to try to help Seth out with his deer problem. So
Yeah.
thank y'all for watching.
support
Seth.
your local farmers.
Absolutely.
Don't blow the horn at them and shoot them birds when you're stuck behind them on the road. That's all.
And that's farm safety and safety of everybody on the road. We're not out there blocking the road and holding traffic up because we want to. We're doing it because we have to. Just be patient and be understanding with us.
There you go.
All right, y'all. Peace out.